Okay, welcome everybody to the Surplus Service Interns final presentation. I know we've had to do a couple reschedules. Thank you everyone for your patience getting us here. I'd like to welcome Lou, owner of Surplus Service. Today we have Kushi Mapati and Emily Lau, the two interns. There are two other interns who couldn't make it today, but today Kushi and Emily will be presenting kind of their work as we go. What I'd like to do first, though, is Lou, do you think you can give us a little background in terms of Surplus Service, just so for our guests, and then kind of put us into a space of what is Surplus Service, what do you do, a little bit background history, and then your role with Surplus Service?
Sure, happy to. And again, sorry for being a little bit late. I had to get my oil changed, and they were trying to finalize all that and clear up the notifications. You have to clear it to show that it's actually been done. Anyway, Surplus Service, we've been in business since 2006. Our company is essentially an asset management company. We do asset management for surplus electronics and equipment. So essentially everything that somebody's getting rid of that has a plug or has batteries, higher value items like computers, servers, phones. But what's also unique about us is we deal with all sorts of medical equipment, lab equipment, test equipment. We can do, very expensive equipment like CT systems, nuclear medicine systems. We can deinstall them. We can do the logistics around them. We can do all the hazmat removal for things like pharmaceutical waste, batteries, light bulbs. So pretty much anything that somebody needs for end of life or asset management, we're one-stop shopping for all of that, and we do a broad range of services. We are ISO. I don't know if you're familiar with ISO. So ISO is International Standards Organization. It's the highest certification, industry certification that you can get. It's expensive and it's very exhaustive to get it. We have not one or two, but we have three certifications. So we're ISO 14001, 45001, and 9001, which is an environmental certification, in addition to processes and procedures. And then we're also the highest certification that you have for R2 or for recycling, which is an R2 recycler. And we've been recognized by the governor for being the most sustainable business in the state of California. We were California's Business of the Year. We're Terra's most sustainable business in the Bay Area. We've been recognized by Stop Waste, and I sit on a bunch of boards and executive committees. But essentially, our goal is to about 85% of what comes into our facility gets repaired, refurbished, and reused. So that rather than recycling, what we try to do is focus on reuse. And that's really, our mission is to try to limit waste as much as possible wherever we can do that, and make sure things are properly dispositioned for our clients. And most of our clients are large clients. We tend to deal with, federal government, Sutter Health, Genentech. So bigger companies are the people that we deal with on a regular basis. And we're also national in scope. So we not only cover the cover California, but we have facilities in back east, in the Midwest, as well as in Southern California. So that's our story, and I'm sticking to it.
And in your role?
So I'm the president of the company.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a woman-owned business. So Claudia is the CEO, and I don't know if you're asking me my job role, but it's basically doing everything from making sure we've got employee coverage to making sure we're growing the business and putting proper processes and procedures in place, meeting all the regulatory requirements, all of that stuff.
Excellent, thanks for that. And as you were with Surplus Service, and How did you come involved with Pilot City? So we can kind of segue into how we developed a program with you.
Gosh, Derek and I, we go back a ways, Derek. I'm trying to think. I think we met. I think Derek and I met at an event, and it had to be, at least 5 or 7 years ago. I don't remember what the event was, but I think Derek's pretty involved with a lot of community outreach programs, and he's been involved with WIOA, which is the Workforce Opportunity Investment Board, and we've been involved with that. And I think through that we ran into each other, and we've intermittently talked or collaborated and been at various events and spoken, and then this opportunity came up, and so I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, kind of the idea is where did the program come from in terms of, like, I guess also the objectives. And I know that with this program there were some transitions, like with the different liaisons, but with the original vision of the partnership with Pilot City, can you kind of prompt us with, like, what were you looking for in terms of a project that you put into the Pilot City, and how, in terms of attracting internship applicants?
Well, from what I understand, unfortunately, the marketing person we had in place, we weren't really necessarily up to speed on everything going on. But from what I heard, we were very impressed with the ladies and what they were doing, the different programs they were working on. I think she had them working on some various social media, some marketing, some branding stuff, and everything I heard as far as what they were doing and how they were carrying out the tasks was very positive. Actually, the new marketing person we have in place is incredibly good. If we did go forward and do something in the future, it would definitely be worthwhile to get either these same interns or a different group connected with them. But our goal was to augment what our marketing people already do. So we only have one marketing person, and it's a very, very involved task. In fact, we're probably going to end up hiring some either interns or additional marketing people because we're growing and we need the additional support. But I believe the initial thought process was around just trying to augment what the prior person was working on, and that was through the ladies that were the interns.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like in terms of the background you've given with Surplus, how big it is, and then knowing you only have one marketing person, there's definitely those opportunities. And I think that I also had the opportunity to Cushy and Emily had brought me up to speed, like what they're working on, and what they've done is they've put together a presentation. So I think at this point, I think we can move over to Cushy and Emily. Are you both ready to kind of show the work that you did do? Okay. All right. I'll let you guys start up. Go for it. And Lou, are you able to see the presentation too? Are you able to see the screen that they're sharing?
I'm currently driving, but I'm going to be home in a few minutes.
Okay.
And I'm sure if they send it to me, I can review it as well.
Okay, great. Well, go ahead and get started, and then we'll send you the slides and the spreadsheet.
And one approach. Great, yeah. One approach, Kushi and Emily, is if there's something that's diagrammatic or visual on your deck, just go ahead and do your best to describe what's on the screen as well.
Okay, so I'm Kushi. I'm Emily, and we're two of the surplus service interns. So we're just gonna start off with why surplus service. Emily?
Okay.
My bad.
Okay. So why did I choose surplus service? So basically, I personally have some past experience in managing social media accounts, but mainly focused on my personal projects. So I never really got the chance to focus on real issues such as like environmental issues. And surplus service was quite an exciting internship experience for me because I knew that it not only includes designing, writing, and digital marketing, but it allows me to combine my interests in social media and promote a solution to a real issue in the community, which is like bringing real value to the community.
So I did it for the opposite reason. I had never done anything in marketing, and I kind of just wanted to explore the business field more and get an idea of what exactly the behind the scenes of marketing looks like. I feel like we all have a very generic idea of what advertisement is, but we don't understand how much work actually gets put into creating the advertisements and like the psychology behind how to reach consumers. So that's why I picked doing this internship with Surplus Service, so I could get the knowledge for that and decide if I liked it or not. All right, so now Emily's going to walk us through some of the highlights of some of the work we created. And again, all of the work is on the Excel sheet that was shared with Lou, but these are just some of our biggest projects.
Yeah, in this slide, we just have two of our main main projects that we have done. Okay, so the first one is the PDF, where we created 4 different slides, each explaining some services of Surplus Service. And I think it creates a different way of showcasing the information that's on the Surplus Service website. And it organized to create an easier way for people to get an idea and understanding of the services instead of reading long paragraphs on the website. Yeah, here are the 4 PDFs. The upcycle it, and then zero waste, company profile, and service portfolio.
Can you go back to that? Yeah, is that the previous slide? Let me see. No, the other slide. Yeah. Hold on. Let me just make that bigger because I'm looking at it on a phone. Did any of these? How do you know how these were used?
So we don't actually know if anything we used was implemented. We just created content and we're not sure where or if it was even put up.
Okay. Is this stuff that you've sent to us or you can send to us?
Oh yeah, you have access to all of this. It's all linked in the Excel sheet.
Where is it again?
The Excel sheet.
Okay. And when did you send me the Excel sheet?
Good job.
Yeah, Lou, it's in a couple emails. I'll resend it again after this presentation, but yeah, there's a Excel sheet that Kushi had put together with Emily, and it'll have all those, everything's organized into these links.
I thought I remembered seeing it about a week or 2 ago.
Yep. Yeah.
Maybe even longer ago than that, but so you're saying from that Excel, I can get to all of these. There's links to all of these.
Correct. And then there's like, there's more. It's just everything that we've ever created is on the Excel sheet.
Okay.
And you can also access the slides on this slide. Like
okay.
Link. Yeah. Oh, do you want to just show all the slides, like the PDFs?
Oh yeah, okay. So this is the next PDF we have. And then our company profile. And then, okay, so we created social media calendars. This is
sorry, Kushi and Emily, I think it'd be very helpful if you can actually go into each of those posters because they look really exciting. Could you actually kind of go into a deeper dive and kind of explain what we're seeing? After this one, I think we saw this one, so I think we're good. Yeah, just explain this, that'd be really helpful. Could someone narrate?
Okay.
Yeah, do you want to?
So so basically most of these are slideshows where we picked specific topics that are highlighted on the company website, and we just went into details so that way if people like want to present, or you could use these slides as a social media post, I guess, because it just summarizes like what is in all the articles that are featured on the website. So like this one specifically talks about like zero waste and how Surplus Service is a solution to zero waste for technology specifically. because like the strategy we had for social media that we wanted to show was that we wanted to show the problems, I guess, like focus on the problems specifically of like how the ecosystem is harmed. And then because of like the problems, that's where we get like people's attention from, instead of trying to show like the company specifically or highlight the company. And then this one's just our company profile. So this one just explains like who the partners are, the awards, what services Surplus Service has, and then it goes quick, like slow, like a little bit of the problems of e-waste. But then this one's just mostly, this is what we used to pitch to one of the, I'm sorry, I don't know what it's called, like one of the people that we had from the city of San Leandro.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we try to partner with her, and so this is the the slideshow we used to pitch to her about what exactly the company does. And then this one specifically just talks about all the services you offers and breaks everything down into detail, so it's more understandable and easier to comprehend for people.
These are good.
Sorry?
These are very good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and then next we have the social media calendar. So this one takes up a whole page of the Excel sheet. And basically what it is like we have like 4 posts. So, or we have 4 months of social media, or sorry, hold on. We have 4 weeks of social media posts. And then each week has like a day, like you can post something for each day of the week. So a total of 28 like days of social media posts basically. And then each week focuses on a specific topic. And again, I'm not sure if these were implemented on LinkedIn or not, but you can always post them on like Instagram, wherever you want, Facebook, wherever you want to expand your company.
Yeah, I'm guessing. Now I kind of wish I had our marketing, the new marketing manager on, because he could, look at this. And we were literally just talking about this kind of stuff today. It would have been nice to have him on the call so he could look at it, and he would probably know what's there and what's not there and what we could potentially use or not use.
Right. So again, like you have access to all of this on the Excel like sheet that you can share with him, and then he can like look over everything. So then just to summarize, so when I was looking at your company specifically, I think our main problem was struggling to get traffic to the website. The issue that the previous marketing person wanted to address was that you weren't getting enough people to click on links, you just wanted more exposure. So I thought that it was kind of weird, not gonna to me, that you guys were only promoting on LinkedIn. And I think on LinkedIn, you can only promote to connections you already have. So you weren't really reaching new people. So I thought a good idea would be to have an Instagram account or a Facebook account so you can reach a broader range of people. And then also to get your name out there, you guys have a really good goal, I think, very environmentally friendly. If you could work with other companies or volunteer organizations, that could help you guys bring in more technology and electronics, and then also get your name out in the community. Also, the website is kind of repetitive, I guess, with all the articles. So that's why we decided to do slideshows so that it's easier to break down and for you guys to see. And then for the future implementation, the way we discussed, expanding to other social media platforms, whoever fills the new marketing position can implement what we did. And then just using the slides we created to have a better outreach for people. And then some of our concerns during our whole internship was just even before and after the marketing person, there was just a lack of communication throughout the whole thing. I feel like a lot of our teammates didn't really know what exactly we were supposed to do. We didn't really know what our expectations were. We were kind of just given work and then just left, I guess, for a week or two, and we didn't get great feedback. There was also not amazing organization because of schedules with school and other activities, even during the summer. and like the internship kind of dragged on, which made it even more difficult. But at the end of the day, like I think all of us learned a lot from the internship, and it was a super valuable experience for all of us. So thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to do this.
I think, I mean, looking at, and I haven't really had an opportunity to look at a lot of this stuff because again, what your concerns, your concerns were our concerns, which is why we made the change that we made. So, but I mean, what you've done, I think is very impressive, and I applaud you for doing it. I also think, you know, just from a career, you know, education, because you kids, you guys are still in high school, aren't you? Or you guys aren't in college?
I'm in junior right now of high school.
I just started college.
Okay, so I mean, you guys are still, I mean, to do what you're doing at the age that you're doing at, and the stage that you're doing at, I really applaud your you know, business acumen, your tenacity, your ability to do that. I know, you know, when I was in school 150 years ago, you know, you learn all this stuff in school that you think is, you know, the right way to do things and important and all of that. And then you get into business and you find out that everything that they made look so easy in school is incredibly involved from a business perspective and has huge demands and huge requirements to get done and how quickly it can be done. And so it's a lot different from what you learn in school, and you never really know that. And so you actually get into a business environment and have to deal with it, no matter what a professor tells you, or no matter what, you know, your parents tell you or a friend tells you, until you actually are in a business environment dealing with it. Then all of a sudden you're kind of like, wow, you know, all this stuff that I learned in school was important and good, but you know, nothing in comparison to or I shouldn't say it, just, you know, taking it and applying it into the business world is completely different and much more sophisticated and much more involved. So I definitely applaud you ladies for doing all of this and taking the initiative. And I apologize, you know, on behalf of our company. I didn't want you to feel that you weren't getting the support that you needed. We were somewhat in a jam, and unfortunately we didn't have anybody who could give you the support. So and that's, you know, a lot of times what you deal with in a business environment. You have to set your priorities, and you know, the priority was to make the change that we made, and unfortunately that was kind of in between when, you know, you guys were working on this project.
Thanks for the presentation, Kushi and Emily. I know that, again, a lot of we went through a lot of transition, so I want to piggyback on Lou and just saying, like, being able to stay through it, finish what you did, and then be patient. But I do have some questions if we're ready for Q&A. Kushi and Emily, are you ready for some questions?
Yeah.
I'll let Lou. Did you have any questions first that you'd like to ask them of their presentation before I?
No, I mean, I guess my biggest question they answered, and that was around, you know, whether any of this stuff was implemented. And it sounds like the prior person had asked a lot of stuff to get done, and it may or may not be that it got implemented. So that's going to allow me to go back to our current marketing person and see if, you know, he's aware of this. And if it hasn't been implemented, it's probably something that he'd want to implement, or at least look at implementing. Yeah, so they pretty much answered that.
Okay.
The only other, you know, I'll throw this out there, if any of the girls are looking at, you know, doing future internships or future jobs, or, you know, that kind of thing, we'd be happy to chat with them in the future.
That's excellent. Yeah, we'll definitely, we'll talk a little bit more and see if that is an opportunity. I wanted to highlight Kushi. So this is kind of a highlight, but also a question for you, Kushi. I was, during the transition, I was told you were the, you know, you had taken on the project lead. So I guess, you know, want to congratulations on that. But also, what was it like being a project lead on a remote team, right? With like, what was your experience? How did you overcome some of those challenges of being the project lead?
Feel like I can't take too much credit for that because a lot of like the team members, like they did so much work too. I don't know. I think the main struggle was just it was really hard that we've never met in person. Just being online communication was super, super difficult. And I know especially like when school started, and I know a lot of like because the rest of the girls like they're in high school, so their school started a lot earlier than mine did. Just like listening to them and being like, oh, like I've practiced, like I'm sorry, like I can't make it. It was just really hard to like get that from them. And then also just like the lack of communication at the beginning where I know like a couple reached out and were just like, oh, I'm so confused. Like I don't know what my expectations are. It was kind of difficult to like, deal with that.
Yeah, well, I know that's at least the experience I had while working with you. I think you were always on point and tried to be. So, and that's why I just wanted to highlight that for you. Like, it can be a challenge, and I think looking at the spreadsheet and the work you did put together, there's some good coordination that was happening. Derek or Stephanie or Egan, any questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a bit involved in terms of engaging Lou, engaging the new marketing manager, and then also some resolution as well on Kushi's side and Emily's side and intern side. But if anything were to bubble up to your brains right now for the interns and Lou being representative of surplus service, I would assume that what may bubble up to the top would be how can we have what the interns did be used, right? I know that this has been a little bit of a ride, right, for us to work on as project, complete, and so forth, right? But from my understanding, Kushi, Emily, you two were quite engaged, right, with internship and took instructions and orders and executed accordingly. You developed an entire Excel sheet of content that you generated, right? And I believe copyright as well, correct? So written language to post on Instagram, for example. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And I would assume that you two know how to post items on social media and understand the value of those platforms. And you two put in some great work alongside your team, I'm sure, right? And so I know that the last month or two may have been a difficult process to kind of churn through, but we are here all in one digital room. And so my question is to kind of itch a bit more on Lou's, what Lou may know, right? And it'd be really great to have some of your content be evaluated, number one, by the new marketing manager, and then essentially pick and pull and reconfigure. Maybe it's all on the surplus service side, right? Because I'm sure you two would just like to be done at this point with this phase of internship, right? Or this internship in general. I don't know. I can't read your minds, but it'd be very good to know Kushi and Emily. I'll start with you two first, then I'll ask Lou, right? So Kushi and Emily, what is your motivation right now to take what you've done and bring it to the marketing manager and essentially go through that Excel sheet with them to share the details of it so that they know what can be posted and implemented. And please be as blunt and honest as you can so we can get closer to the possibility of it. Maybe Emily, you can kickstart it and then popcorn over to Kushi and she can share her perspective as a start.
Okay. So I think regarding to a lot of the past projects or the tasks we did, which are all on the Excel sheet, some were already implement it on the Surface Service website. Like we did recreate or add contents to some of the past blogs, as well as some LinkedIn posts such as like giveaway and introduction to services. And I think it'll be nice to use the ones, because since we already came up with a social media calendar, and those are just easily copy and paste to the social media accounts platforms, and I think those would be great to use.
I agree with Emily. I think everything we have is like very usable, and it's also very easy to change and reuse again, just because it's all like what exactly like the company focuses on specifically. So like I wouldn't like, I don't think we would like, I wouldn't mind sitting down with the new marketing person and walking them through, but everything is just like super accessible on the spreadsheet as well. Everything like has a description, and it's like you can literally copy and paste it and like just quick edit and it's good to go.
Thank you for sharing that. So this is, the next question is for Lou, but knowing how a business owner may think, Lou's going to ultimately defer this to the new marketing manager. But I would also assume that Lou would assume that the new marketing manager has zero context on who you two are, what you've done, what the value you've created is, how strategic it is, how aligned it is to their new goals around marketing and so forth, right? So likely Cushy and Emily, it would require you two to hold the hand of the marketing manager to walk them through almost one day at a time of posts, right? To show them all the different content so that they're acclimated and understand what it is. Of course, we can have the marketing manager watch this video that we're recording right now as context, right? So that Cushy and Emily, you two are not completely repeating what you're saying. And then they can look at the Excel sheet that has been forwarded to Lou. But say with all that, I think it'll still be helpful to kind of have you two as brainstorm partners with the new marketing manager to some extent, so that they fully understand what you've done, so they know what actually could be used with their new strategies. So Lou, question for you. How does what we're saying sound? And is this something that you would be motivated to execute on? To take this process in and seeing if their content could be used to be posted?
I think I'm not sure if I already answered that for my first question. So the first question was, I mean, I can look at this stuff pretty quickly and see that it's good. And then, you know, you're right. The first thing that goes through my mind as a business owner is, if we haven't used it, then we probably should be using it. So I need to get, you know, Jose is the new guy. I need to get Jose connected with the spreadsheet and have a sit down meeting with him and have him review whether this is stuff that's already been implemented on the site, you know, what he thinks of it, and go from there. So I'm also cognizant of, you know, the ladies' time. They probably are like the same way I would be if I was in school trying to finish a project or internship. I just want it to be done so I could move on. So if they are interested in having a conversation with Jose to present out their work, I'm more than happy to orchestrate that. If they aren't, I completely understand, because, you know, I would probably feel like, hey, I did this, I did my job. You know, I've got other classes and other things to worry about. So it's really up to them. I'm more than happy to coordinate it, because I think it would help Jose a little bit to hear it from the horse's mouth, you know, being, you know, what they did, what they worked on, you know, what the project was, all of that stuff. I mean, they can present it a lot better than I can, or for that matter, than what a spreadsheet can. But like I said, I'm also cognizant of the fact that, you know, this is well beyond, I think the internship ended, I think the project I thought ended in August. So we're well beyond that point at this point.
So back to, thanks for sharing that, Lou. Cushy, let's start with you first. You're a college student now, don't know exactly which school you're at right now, but I guess the main question is, does do you have time? And would you be motivated to kind of go down that path? And it's totally fine if you cannot, because students have a very intense schedule, especially if you're in college. And then
No,
same question for Emily.
I go to San Jose State, so I'm
Oh.
yeah, like I have the time and I don't mind sitting. I could literally, like, if you want me to drive by to the office, that works for me too. Especially because I can like accommodate the Monday to Friday 9 to 5. I don't have any classes on Monday or Friday, so like it works for me.
So that's, I mean, the best, you know, it's hard for, how do I say this politically correct? It's hard for us, you know, our company's a required business, you know, we've been mandated, or essential business, whatever they call it. So throughout this entire pandemic, we've been operating, you know, the way, you know, as we normally would. I mean, obviously we've had, you know, requirements around using, you know, hand washing and all that stuff. But so I think somebody raised the point earlier, and I think as time goes on, it's going to be very interesting to see, you know, what this, you know, 2 years of pandemic does to productivity within the United States, because a lot of people are thinking that they can probably work via things like Zoom and remotely. And I think, you know, we're probably going to find out the hard way that, you know, it's always better for people to work together with people. It's just more productive. Not to say that there aren't a lot of efficiencies through things like Zoom, but the way we're doing it right now is difficult. So long story short, I guess what I'm saying is if we could get you to our facility, you or any of the ladies to our facility, to actually do a PowerPoint presentation to probably myself, Anthony. I mean, I've already seen it, but certainly Anthony and or Jose. And actually there's 2 other ladies in our office. One is Samantha and the other one is Corey, who do a lot of marketing type stuff for us. I think they'd love to see what you worked on. And it would also be good for you guys, I think, just from a presentation perspective, to get in front of a company. But that's, I don't know how comfortable you are being out in an environment and actually interacting and talking with people, because some people, you know, still haven't left their bedrooms.
So basically, that's awesome to hear. And I'm sure, because basically what both of you are saying is like you're willing to meet in person, and that's great. Emily, you're a high school student still. I think you go to California Cross Point, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure you have school on Mondays and Fridays.
Yes.
And I think today you actually had no school, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I
That
checked
was
that
prior to
just
the
now,
conference.
actually. And the next time you don't have school is actually Thanksgiving break on a Friday, right? So there's no Monday or Fridays available for you in person. So I guess, when do you get off of school right now? Usually 3:30?
3:30. Yeah. But sometimes I might have like extracurriculars.
Okay. Well, on Mondays and Fridays, which ones is less extracurricularly?
And
Okay,
Derek,
that'll be Friday.
you could always have, you know, 1 or 2 of the girls come in and do the presentation, and then 1 or 2 of them could call in via video or via conference.
Yeah, for sure. I think one cool idea would be try to figure out if you guys can come just to kind of also take a look at the facility, you know, what surplus service looks like. So curious to know, Emily, if you have any ideas of what a Monday or Friday could look like for you to do a visit to.
Mhm.
Let me
So
just,
I think-
before, because I know we went down this path before, I think, and there's no way it's going to happen at 5, especially on a Friday.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
a lot
that's
of our
exactly.
people are hourly people, and then I'm getting into overtime, and it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. So Emily, I guess my question for you is, are you free anytime on a Monday or Friday between 3:30 and 5, or 3 and 5, or can you get off of school early and then we can get you over there somehow?
Yeah, I think Friday works better for me because I have some other stuff on Monday.
Okay. So what do you have? What are you two doing next Friday, the 29th, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m.? And my question for you, Lou, is what is Jose doing from 3 to 5 p.m. next Friday?
So I can check with Jose. I know I'm out of town. We have a business meeting down in Southern California with a couple of correctional institutions. And then we're doing a pharmaceutical event in, I think it's in San Diego. So I think
What
we're
about the
back.
5th?
I was going to say, I think we're back on Wednesday. Either, I can't remember if we're back Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. So we could potentially do something, you know, early Friday afternoon or mid Friday afternoon.
It would have to be after school, so have to be between 3 and 5 p.m. on a Friday. So how does the 5th work, November 5th, work for you three, from 3 to 5? And I'm
You're
going to come, by the way. I'm asking all three of you. Lou, Emily, Kushi, Friday, November 5th, 3 to 5 p.m.
I might be arriving at 4 because Surplus Service is in Fremont, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we close at 4:30.
Oh, okay.
Kushi, you're available, right? Because you're free on Fridays.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay. And Emily, when do you get off school?
3:30, so I'll probably arrive at like 4 or 3:40.
And what's your last class usually?
Usually just electives, so it's not very important.
Do you think you can ask your teacher if you can get off school early and get an
Yeah, I
excuse?
think so.
So could you request that on Monday to see if November
Okay,
5th
on the 5th.
on
Okay.
Friday? Yeah, and then
Yeah.
even checking with your teacher too. What class is it? Psychology or something? Or what's the...
Bible class.
Oh, okay, you can
Yeah.
skip that. I'm just
No,
kidding.
yeah.
So Lou, I think the last missing piece of the puzzle is Jose, and if he's available Friday from for example,
Yeah.
3 to 4:30.
Give me a second here. I got to look at my calendar.
Okay. And the two other interns can decide to come or not, but let's solidify it for this time. And Lou, it really depends on you if you can commit, and then if Jose can commit. So that'll be we can call this a tentative until it works. If not, we do the next Friday. If not, that Friday, next Friday. Just keep going down the Fridays.
The only looks like I'm in town next week, and we don't have any audits or reviews or anything like that. I'm just looking here. Give me a second. Give me a second.
Just to clarify,
Yeah.
Derek, would you be asking Kushi to show up earlier than Emily? Is that what you're asking?
I think, well, Emily, question for you. When does your Bible study class start on Fridays? What time?
Starts at 2:30.
Okay.
So
So
I can go earlier.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So you'd be able to get there by 3 basically, right? Or by 2:45, right?
Yes.
So the only issue I'd run into, Derek, is I'm apparently on jury duty, I think on the 3rd. And sometimes they call you for that and sometimes they don't. So at this point, I don't know if they're going to call me, but if it's anything like last time, they're probably going to not call me.
Well, this would be Friday, November 5th.
No, I know, but if you get assigned to a jury.
Oh, you keep doing it for a couple of days.
I mean, it depends how long the case goes, but it's with the court in Richmond. And that means I would have to go to the court in Richmond. So I'm not going to be anywhere near Fremont.
Okay.
And if the case runs 2 or 3 days, but what I'm saying is I wouldn't worry about that. I would do exactly what you just said. Let's set it for the 5th. If it looks like I'm going to have to do jury duty, then we can push it out for another week.
Great. Could you do this, Lou? Could you give us the email for Jose right now? Put it into the chat on Zoom.
Yeah, it's just.
And what we'll do is we'll send a proposed calendar for all 4 of you, Lou, Jose, Kushi, Emily, for Friday, November 5th. From let's call it 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. And then let's await Jose's response for that. And if Jose's not available during that particular time and day, let's do as an alternative Friday, November 12th, same time, until we get a Friday at from 3 to 4:30 set. How's that sound for everybody?
So Jose is just marketing at Surplus Service.
Okay,
And let me give you Samantha. Hold on one
Okay.
second.
we can add Samantha too.
Samantha is admin, ADMIN, admin at Surplus Service. And let me give you Corey. Corey is this one's a little bit, I think you can do Corey M at Surplus Service, but you may have to do Client Solution Manager 12 at Surplus Service,
And how do you spell Corey? C-O-R-Y?
CORI.
Okay, C-O-R-I.
I think you can do just Corey, CORIM. So Corey M at
Yep.
Surplus Service.
Got it.
If not, it would be Client Solutions Manager 12. And
Got
then Anthony, I think you have his email, Anthony B.
Oh yeah, Anthony too. Wow, you're just gonna have a big show going on. Okay.
And I know
That
that,
sounds, yeah, sounds
let
promising.
me, yeah, let me chime in. And I know that thanks Lou for being available. We were trying to coordinate that one before. And I know we're coming up right on the 6th, so I want to wrap us up. For Emily and Kushi and Vidya and Sia, I think this presentation does sort of end, right? Like it sort of ends the internship. I think this idea of the presentation or meeting in person would be sort of an extra, right there, because that I just want to be clear on that. Like at this point, the internship's completed, right?
Yeah, let's do this because Lou, this is really for the sake of the the mental sanity, I guess, of our interns. But this would kind of close it out, and then I think what we're talking about on next Friday is really an additional kind of opportunity that I think has to be kind of discussed, right, with the interns. So as long as you're okay with that, I think that it can initiate that next, if there is an opportunity for them that you like to propose, right, for them to do social media management or coordination or maybe I don't know what that is, but I think that does make sense to close out the internship with this, and then the meeting would be an additional opportunity that would spark a new opportunity.
So are you talking about having them actually do work for us?
I think that would have to be discussed on that Friday. Yeah. So
Okay.
I think we'll have to discuss what, because Kushi and Emily, they've been waiting for a while to kind of wrap this up. So this would be another opportunity, right, that we can continue on with. And we can discuss that offline too, though.
Yeah,
we have some ideas.
Happy to chat with them about that type of, because I think probably Jose would probably have a lot of stuff that he could allocate to them to help out with. So
Cool. Yeah, and Emily and Kushi, I'm sure, just bring your open mind, I guess, on that Friday to discuss. So I'm going to send a calendar invite for everyone here, including Corey and Sam and Anthony. Let's aim for that. Emily, I think you know what to do with your teacher and your school to try to get that period off. But it's exciting. I'm going to come too and enjoy the show as well. So
Derek, I don't know if we'll let you in. After the
first already been in there, so I think I already know.
Yeah, we got some complaints the first time, so but, we'll figure it out. Maybe we'll let you in the second time.
I'll knock on the back door. So Kushi, Emily, how's that sound as a plan for you two?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Mhm.
Wonderful. Hopefully your eyes good by then.
Okay.
Cool. Well, I think we're all heading up towards time. Jeff, I'll pass it back to you.
Yeah. So as a final, Kushi and Emily, now you are now PilotCity alumni. We have more events that'll be coming up, right? Like, so we wanted to wrap this up, and I think again, this extra being able to go tour the facility is gonna be great. That'll be fun stuff. But let's end this cycle. Oh, again, congratulations. I think you guys did great work. And I think this opportunity to show it off is great because it's a continuation of being able to say it's not just going to go to waste, right? I think that content you created can be useful. So let's put it out there. So those are my thoughts. Lou, or actually I'll let you go, Derek, but because I want to give Lou the last kind of word too to wrap it up. Derek, do you have any final words?
No, I'm good. Again, just like Jeff said, you are now essentially PilotCity alumni. So Emily, Cushy, you're part of a family because we do have a lot of interns in that family, and we're going to be presenting new opportunities for you as we go. So do look out for those.
Thanks. And Lou, I want to leave you with the last word. Like, any final thoughts before we close out the meeting?
Yeah, I mean, I love what you're doing with the kids, so I think that's great. To give them an opportunity to, collaborate, not only on, classroom related activities, but also working in a business type environment really is a huge opportunity and a huge benefit, something that can go on your resume and something that will definitely make a difference to employers as you guys get into the real world and start looking for jobs. I had the opportunity when I was in college, again, 150 years ago. We actually, no, I was in high school or college. I can't remember now if I was in high school or college, but I did an internship with Xerox. I think I started it in high school and finished it my first year in college. And I think it was a 2-year internship with Xerox, who at that time was the premier kind of company from a sales and marketing perspective. And it was very, very enlightening to be able to understand how things really work from a business perspective and how the stuff that you learn from a school perspective, trying to take that and actually implement it and make it work from a profitable perspective, trying to balance the trade-offs in business of what sometimes, seems easy to do in an academic environment is not that easy to do by any means in a business environment. So I applaud you guys for doing it. I think it's great. I think it shows tenacity and it shows initiative. And I think it will also, help you guys in the future as you start to go out there looking for jobs, because that's, as somebody who hires people on a regular basis, it matters if somebody gets A's in college and A's in high school. But really what matters to me is, because there's a lot of kids who get good grades, A's, B's, C's, whatever, but there aren't a lot of kids who take the initiative to do a lot of the programs that you guys are doing. And that's what will differentiate you to employers. You've probably been told that by your parents and you didn't listen, but I can tell you as an employer, that makes a big difference. So that's all I've got to say.
Oh, that's great wisdom. And with that, I'd like to wrap us up. Have a great, again, thank you everybody for coming on a Friday. Thank you, Lou. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Cushy, for your presentation. And thank you, our guests. Have a great Friday, and we'll be sending out those invites so you can take that tour.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for all your support. Lou, Cushy, Emily, to your team. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Take care.
Have a great Friday, everybody. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.